Hey, it's Mariah, and today I'm going to show you my November favorites. This video is a little bit later than I would have liked for it to be, but hopefully you'll forgive me for that, and we're gonna jump right in. In gaming, I've really been enjoying point-and-click adventures lately, and as soon as I started getting back into those, I really wanted to play this game that I had when I was really young and my brother and I would play it together, and it's Toonstruck, a 1996 release from Virgin Interactive. Toonstruck follows the story of Drew Blank, who's played by Christopher Lloyd, and he is a cartoon animator who works in the show called The Fluffy Fluffy Bun Bun Show, which he despises because of how cutesy it is and the characters are kind of sickly sweet, but it's had this unprecedented kind of success over years and years and years, so that's what he's had to work on. And he's assigned by his boss, who is played by Ben Stein, to make more characters for this show, and he has to turn it over really quickly. Drew draws a blank and just can't figure out what to do, and it's driving him kind of crazy, and he falls asleep at his his drawing table, and he wakes up and Fluffy Fluffy Bun Bun is on TV, and it's just following him, and it's making him mad, and somehow he gets sucked into his television, and he ends up in the land of Cutopia, which is where Fluffy Fluffy Bun Bun lives, but it's also where Flux Wildly lives. And Flux Wildly is an original character that he created years ago but could never get a show made for. Drew is in this land, and there's this guy, Count Nefarious, who, you may have guessed it, is the baddie, and he is going all around Cutopia, blasting it with his malevolator and basically turning it evil. So Drew goes on this adventure with his pal Flux to build a cutifier to fix all the places that got malevolated and find his way back home to the real world. This game features hand-drawn backgrounds and animated characters, and it's got a lot of nostalgia for me. I really love this game. I played this with my brother when, I don't know how old I was, but I was born in 1992. This game came out in 96, so at least 4 years old. Probably a bit older than that. I found it on GOG.com for like 10 bucks, I think, and it's well worth it. In film, I have two documentaries for you. One's more of a TV documentary, but I'm gonna put it in here anyway. The first is Tig, which is a 2015 documentary about Tig Notaro, who's a comedian, and I had been familiar with her stuff for a couple of years now, and I'd been vaguely familiar with her story, but I had no idea that there was a documentary being made about her, and it is so good because her story is incredible. That she experienced this like insane amount of tragedy in her life within a really short space of time, and then this documentary follows that, and then follows this crazy like upswing in her career that she experienced following all that stuff, and like it's just a really good story, and it's the kind of thing that you wouldn't believe would happen to a person, but it happened to her. Tig's approach to life is very inspirational. I'm gonna throw it out there. All this crazy shit happened to her, and she just kept going, and there were definitely times where she felt like she might not get through it or might not be able to hold on, but she did, and I think she's incredible for it. So that one's on Netflix, so please, if you haven't watched it already, go do that. And the second one is one that I've been watching or rewatching a lot lately, and it's J.K. Rowling: A Year in the Life, which is a TV documentary from 2007. It follows J.K. Rowling during her last year. She's finishing up the final Harry Potter book, and not her last year of life, oh my god. She's finishing up the last Harry Potter book, and it follows that and the kind of pandemonium around that, and it just gives you a really great inside look to Jo Rowling and her life. It's one that I go to time and time again, the same way I go back to the Harry Potter books. It's just a really nice, kind of comforting piece of media for me that I like to put on, even if it's just on in the background. I'm cleaning my room, or I just need something else to kind of distract me or whatever. It's just, there's something really cozy about it and really familiar about it, and I love hearing from her and about her, and like I've been on the J.K. Rowling kick lately, so it's a good one. It's on YouTube if you haven't seen it before. Don't know how long that will last, but it's been on there for a while, so it's available. Check it out. I said I would do podcast last time, so here you go. My favorite podcast of the last month and the last several months has been the Nerdist Writers Podcast Comics Edition. And just because I've been getting really into comics lately, and I think it's a great way to start understanding not necessarily the process behind making a comic, but the idea behind these kinds of stories and this like format of storytelling, which I am completely fascinated with. It's a great way to get familiar with creators and to know them as more than just like the last name on the cover of a comic. You get an idea for their process or for their ideas behind storytelling, for how they like to approach a story, and that's great. I love that kind of shit. In television, my absolute favorite thing from the last month has been Jessica Jones. I binge watched that show without meaning to. I think I started watching it at 4 in the afternoon one day, just like looking for something to watch, and I saw it and I was like, oh, I didn't know they put this up yet, and went into it very naively thinking I was gonna watch an episode or two, and I did not stop until 4 in the morning. I was so invested in those characters, in that story, and just like needed the resolution, and I wasn't gonna stop till I got it, and boy was it freaking worth it. It's definitely darker than other Marvel like TV shows that are happening right now, but it's like all the better for it. I think it's really good and it does the dark stuff well. So check it out if you haven't yet. In books, my favorite thing that I read in November was Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. I'll be honest and say that November was not a great reading month for me, but I did read this book in a day, and that does not happen for me. I am a confessed slow reader, and this one, for whatever reason, just really grabbed me, and I took the whole day and just got through it. I don't know. It was a really sweet story. I think Perpetual Pages did an awesome review on it, which I'm going to link for you, and it had a great idea behind it to take the notion of a coming out narrative and kind of turn it on its head and let us look at it in a different way. But at the same time, it was still allowed to be really lighthearted and sweet, and you don't often get that with queer literature. Often it's the opposite. So this book was great for me. I'll say that my favorite book that I'm currently reading is Finnegan of the Rock by Melina Marchetta. I know that this is going to be one of those books that takes me a while to get through. I'm finding it a little bit slow at the moment, but I'm just going to appreciate it for it's world building. I'm really digging these characters so far, and I'm not too far in yet, so we're gonna see how it goes. And lastly, for Booktubers, my favorites for November have been Jean at Jean Bookish Thoughts and Ashley at Climb the Stacks. Jean and Ashley are so freaking smart, and I love it. They're both great content creators who really are consistent with their content, which I think is awesome, and I really look up to them in terms of like making things on the internet, which I think is going to be a theme for anybody that I put in this category. But if you haven't checked them out yet, please do, and I'll link their channels below. That's it for my November favorites. If you have anything that you really enjoyed in the past month, please let me know. We can talk about it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.